Hey fam, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another recap of Sister Wives season 20, episode 8, Making Out Like Teenagers. The birds continue to fly in the land of delusion, and I am just happy when they aren't on our screens. But do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into it. So, we begin this episode with Kody poking his lovely assistant, the bird, with his facial hair as he goes in for a kiss. She compares his beard to the scrubber from a kitchen sink and tells him that if he shaves it, she'll kiss him some more. Well, I'm trying to figure out if the bird is pleased or satisfied with anything about the bald eagle at this point because the facial hair that he has isn't new. He's had it for some time. So is it just now becoming a problem? Anyways, his bird tells him that the facial hair is a problem, so he cannot get rid of that stuff fast enough. He is in a mirror instantly, hair pulled up, and he's ready to shave off his mustache and cut down his beard a little bit. As long as she is willing to make out with him to the point where they're like teenagers. I don't know if this was a dig at Christine or not, because we know that at one point she did say she wanted to make out like teenagers. And hearing Kody now say that, I was like, Then part of me is feeling like this is just them yet again trying to make us feel like they had to keep their feelings for each other and their affection and all these other things under wraps because of the other ladies. So every single episode with them now, we are going to get them trying to act like they are these very, very happy people when it's just giving performative to me. So he shaves off his beard, well, not his beard, his mustache, and he trims his beard, and she gives him a bunch of pecks. It wasn't giving make out like teenagers, it was giving, I'm going to give you some sympathy pecks and flirt with you a little bit so I can be left alone for a little bit. So later we see the bird playing around in her messy pantry. All that house, and I thought that the pantry would be bigger than what we saw. It also goes to show yet again that although Kody is trying to make it seem like his bird is this organized person, that she truly isn't. An organized person wouldn't have a pantry that looked like that. And she can blame it on the kids all she wants to. Looking at how high some of those items were, we're not going to act like it's just the kids who just toss stuff up there and have like 50 of the same type of bag halfway eaten. Some of this is you all and what you have allowed in your household. So Kody lets the bird know that Pooville is officially going to be sold. And to that news, she is sad. Girl, please. I am not going back over for the umpteenth time how hard it is for Robyn to let this property go because she just had all these dreams for this property when it's been almost 5 years and nothing's been done up there. Robyn's property was the nest that y'all had lived in since you moved to Flagstaff when you bought that house. That was her property. Pooville, she didn't really have any ties to it except for her dream to sit on the porch and watch grandkids, which I'm so excited that it's actually Janelle that's going to get to live out that dream because it was originally hers in the first place and the bird tried to steal it. Anyways, that she's actually getting to do that in real time as her and Maddie's homes are being built at the same time on their farm. Anyways, so the Feather Crew has dinner, and as they're sitting at dinner, they let the kids know that they no longer are about to own Pooville. And to that, Ari says, "Is that it?" Thank you, Ari. They try to cut her off a little bit. But thank you, Ari, because as much as they're trying to make it seem like they have all of these memories out there, most of the memories that they have are from when they first bought the land. It isn't anything that happened after years. Like, it's been years since they had family memories. You can't make me believe that these people were visiting Coyote Pass all the time to go sit at a picnic table and eat lunch when they could have went to an actual park that had more to do than look at this pond full of Perry poo. Like, I refuse to believe it. Um, they could have more fun at the park or somewhere else. It's just like, it's fake. So, um, Kody and Robyn sit there as they talk about how, they're not going to be able to have any more memories at, Coyote Pass, but they are going to be able to create new ones at their new castle. Good for you. I really, really hope that, it works out. No, I don't. I really don't care. So we jump to Janelle. Janelle lets us know that for the past week, Maddie has had a start-stop labor. And this happened before with the last children. So it's now been a week and a half since the start-stop began. Maddie goes down and tells her mom that she's in labor. That's at 6. At 8, they leave for the hospital. And by 10:30, Amelia Estelle Brush was here. Now we find out that Estelle is her middle name, and it is a tribute to Garrison because it means star, and Garrison loved galaxies. I do think that that's a beautiful way to honor her brother. I know a few Amelias, and they all seem very mature to me. So I'm wondering if she's gonna kind of live up to her name. We'll see. So Janelle has been at all of Maddie's births, and she feels like each one is the coolest experience. Christine has been at some, and she wanted to come, but she said that it all boils down to respecting the mom. And Maddie told her that she can come after the baby is born. So Maddie is back home after about a day. They thought that she would have the baby on March 5th, which would be a year to the day of Garrison. But she arrived on March 15th instead. I personally feel that either way, whether it was the 5th or the 15th, that rather than it being a sad time, they can also look forward to the celebration of this new life that's been brought into their family. Not that it makes it any easier, but I do feel like it will help them, kind of navigate things, because it yes, you're going to mourn your loved one, but you also get to, celebrate life as well. So we get to Christine and David. I am finding myself enjoying a lot of the scenes back at home with Christine and David, because we are seeing at just how much David balances her and kind of brings her back to reality. So Christine is making a diaper cake, well, a few of them, because we're told that they have a few pregnant daughters. I do believe that at the time, Aspen was among that number, but you all let me know. So Christine says that she is always throwing something, and she always has back boxes coming to the house to the point where it's like deliveries every day, and she is spending a lot of money. This is something that Christine could not do before because of how tight money was before. Now, they're not saying before the show, but they're implying that it was before the show, because they say in the early days. Before this show, in my opinion, she says she would be at the register having to put things back because it cost too much. We heard Meri say that they would sit down and decipher which bills they were going to pay, or determine, I should say, which bills they were going to pay and which bills they weren't. So money was very much so something that they struggled with for a long time in their family. But once they got money, things kind of changed. They were in charge of their own stuff. Now, we're reminded about the family pot and told that each adult would add the same amount to it. But Kody was the check writer, and they each spent money from that pot in different ways. If you're going to keep on telling me about this family pot, I want more details. I want to know, how often were they expected to put money in the family pot? Where did that money come from? If TLC was giving them a lump payment, I don't know if they were or they weren't. Y'all let me know down below, but I thought at one point it was a lump payment. If TLC was giving them a lump payment, how did they decipher how much goes out to the family, to the different adults in the family versus what they're putting into? Like, there's so many aspects of this family pot that isn't explained, that I just, my nosy tail, I want to know, y'all. I want to know. So David is looking at her and listening to her, and he says, "You do realize that." Oh, did I say this? Did I say that Kody was the check writer? I think I did. So they didn't necessarily know how different people spent the money. Some of that money did go to education. So David points out that there may be a point where they only have one income. In other words, there may be a point where he is the breadwinner and not her. There may be a point where she does not have money from this show. Now, he's not saying it, but he's implying it. Say what you want, but I appreciate the way that David is trying to put this into perspective for her, which is that this may not be forever. And basically, at the rate that she is spending money, it seems like it may be a concern to him. So he wants her to start thinking about their future and what it would look like 10 years from now. She agrees that she will talk to him about it and that they'll figure it out. Now, Christine speaks on not knowing what she will do when it comes to things like Truly's college without certain income. And I just say to myself that with Christine having the means right now, it's time for you to stop overcompensating. It's time for you to stop buying all these things for Christmas and all this other stuff and save your money. I am not knocking Christine for wanting to celebrate her grandbabies. I am very much so a grandchild that was spoiled by her father's side of the family. I was. We were very spoiled. My grandmother made sure that we had the best Christmas while we were at her house. Summertime, my birthday fell in the summer. Oh, Tisha was getting the best parties. Like, this is very much so a thing. However, at some point you have to look at your situation and your expenses. And Christine at this point comes from a much larger family, because to date, with Maddie's new baby, she says they have 17 grandchildren. So you're going to throw this many big parties and do this and do that, and like, it doesn't have to be on such a large scale. There are birthdays where you could just provide a birthday cake and sing happy birthday. It doesn't have to be so extravagant. Now, am I knocking her for wanting to celebrate them? No, Christine is very happy and she loves doing that type of stuff. But in this economy and with the way things are going and with the fact that they don't know how long this show is going to last for, it does seem like something that is something that she should consider. And I appreciate that David brings it up to her. Christine just loves that they can have these conversations and it doesn't turn into something else, because of course at some point, if this were the bald eagle, it would have turned into something else. So we go to Meri. Meri is finally doing something about her dated home in Parowan. They are gutting it out and they are renovating it. So she's putting like a awning over the back porch and she's completely gutting out the inside. Like, we're seeing cabinets and stuff being removed in the kitchen. And I cannot wait to see what that house is going to look like. You can give me a play-by-play of that type of stuff. I love home renovation projects. So I'm interested in seeing more of that. So we find out that Meri's family friend, her family and Amber, which is her friend's family, have been friends for years. And Amber is in this transitional space. So she's going to be staying with Meri temporarily as a roommate. Not sure for how long, but they're going to make the most of it while they're together. Meri lets her know that she is preparing to go to Flagstaff because it's time to sign some stuff. She does not get why it took so long to do this. Now, Justin is the person who let her know that the sale went through, because at some point after months of going back and forth, Meri was like, look, you can, from here on out, Kody, talk to my lawyers. So Meri feels like when it comes to Robyn, that the bird didn't like how much she stood her ground. And Amber says something that I think is very true. Amber says, people that benefit off of you not growing usually don't like it when you grow. And I think it's true. I think that the bird benefited from Meri being bound. I think the bird benefited from all of them being around. And now that they're gone and Meri isn't holding on, Robyn got a problem with it. So Meri says that the bird at this point is loyal to Kody, and she isn't, that she doesn't trust her, and that they would have some tough conversations in order to even try to be friendly to each other. She tells us that there's a lot more to it that they need to talk about. Production, this is where you ask, like, what more do y'all need to talk about? I feel like the ball is dropped sometimes with certain things. So Meri says she hasn't spoken to Kody in a while, but they were having conversations. And they did have a conversation basically about Kody, because she felt like in that conversation he went after Jen. Now, Kody tells us that he sees Jen as a nemesis that encouraged Meri to leave. When you make statements like that, it makes it seem like you did not want her to leave. It makes it seem like, once again, is that you wanted her to continue to put money into your family while not having any type of dealings or interactions with her. So he says that Janelle told Jen, no, that Jen told Janelle in Vegas that Meri should basically drain out the accounts and run. I don't know if she was saying that she should drain out the family accounts, or if Meri should just stop giving them money, take her money out of her accounts that they may or may not have access to, and run. And my personal feeling is that there's something that Jen obviously knows that we don't. And I think that if that's the case, and she saw that her friend was being taken advantage of, that she's right. Meri should have taken her money and run. I think that Jen bit her tongue a lot when it come to this dynamic and the way that Kody was being treated. Because here I am, and here some of you all are, as a person who does not know any of these ladies. And I know that there were various points where we all felt like if any of them should leave, it definitely should have been Meri. Other ones later on, but definitely Meri in the beginning, because she was the one who was obviously the most on the outs. And I still don't know how Jen was able to not confront Kody or say slick things and all this other stuff. Personally, I like to think that I have that much restraint, but in seeing the way that he treated them, I don't think I do. So Meri feels like there's just so much drama, unnecessary drama at that, surrounding the property. And apparently there still is. So Janelle is in Flagstaff with no voice to meet up with the others. But before she does all that, she's going to go hang out with her two friends, Angela and Christina, to celebrate the sale of Coyote Pass. She lets us know that for the longest time out in Flagstaff, she didn't have any friends. And then a little over a year before she left, she ended up becoming friends with these two ladies. So to me, the best part of the whole conversation is because Janelle doesn't have her voice. One of her friends is like, oh, I bet you it's going to be great not to hear, you wish you had, what did she say? Something along the lines of wishing that Kody didn't have a voice. And her friend Christina talks about how he's too busy losing his hair. I chuckled at that. Which he's going to get mad at that when he sees it. And Janelle's going to be on his radar, because how dare you make any mention of him that's in a negative light, which is why I think that he really has a problem with Meri now, is because Meri has said some things that he doesn't care for. So the subject of dating comes up. Janelle says she wants an easygoing not uptight, not high maintenance man. Basically, the opposite of Kody. She says that Christine let her know that a lot of men really aren't like Kody. This isn't Janelle's first rodeo. I don't know how Meri's brother was, but I would think not only that, she has sons. So I would think that she may know that already, but okay. So Janelle feels like when looking at, the feathered crew, that they are definitely meant for each other and that they are equally yoked. She says that the helpless person who needs to be rescued, and basically like Robyn is the helpless person that needs to be rescued, and Kody is there to save her. So we later see Kody cleaning wrestling mats. Y'all let me know down below. Were these the mats that were originally in Christine's garage for the kids where they wrestled on them? Or is Robyn telling us that he later went on to get wrestling mats from the school in Vegas when they were getting rid of them? Is it the same mats that we're talking about? Either way, I don't see why Kody needs wrestling mats at this point. This is something that you did with Janelle's sons. I just don't see Saul being very interested in this. Now, Meri says that the wrestling mats were always a thing, that even at one point in Lehigh, that Janelle had a wrestling mat under her table. And when the guys were ready to wrestle, they just moved the table that they eat on so they could do it. The Feathers then talk about meeting up at Coyote Pass to meet with the other ladies. And the bird gives her husband a pep talk about being kind. They are doing all this talking about how it took them so long to do this because of the paperwork. And I'm thinking that paperwork, meaning the way that Kody messed up the lot assignments, how he divvied this thing out, and how it was wrong in the first place. But Meri kind of drops a ball. She says what really happened was that they tried to get her to sign a confidentiality agreement that she didn't agree to. And I don't understand what this is about. Why, out of all people, are you trying to get Meri to do that? What does Meri know that you don't want us to know? So Kody says, after we took the offer, Janelle was worried about losing the buyer. So Janelle was pushing me to comply with Meri's request or force the sale. But I was saying to Janelle, like, let's just backdoor the two of them. Think he was referring to Meri and Robyn. He said, but Robyn wouldn't let him do that. That the woman that he loves made him say, oh, it's time to be a better man. Because Robyn said, who are you? Where's the man that said, if one of your wives left you, that you would buy the house down the street to keep your kids close to you and you would be generous with her? Where are you? Robyn tells us, she said, this is BS. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I'm not selling this land until everything is perfectly fair and we do this the right way. Sorry, I'll be the big fat rat in the way. Or did she say, I don't think she said rat. I think she said rock. I'll be the big fat rock in the way. Robyn doesn't even talk like that. Once again, it's giving performance to me. Robyn, you're just too over the top with this, hun. You got to work on it. Now, what he wanted to do, he says, is just say, sit down and shut up, if that's the case. But he can't do that. And as Meri is talking about this confidentiality agreement, Meri breaks down hearing certain things. And I just feel really, really badly for Meri in this moment. I think that there are a lot of times where we, myself included, forget that Meri really, truly believed in this religion that she was a part of. She truly believed that the person that she married was in love with her and all these other things. And if you really look at it, at some point she was used. I think she was used more than she even understood. And there are moments where Meri sided with the feathered crew and mistreated people like Christine and was snarky and rude to Janelle and whatever else. And she was abrasive and whatever else, like all the many things that we've heard Meri being. But as Janelle and even Christine at one time pointed out, Meri is very loyal. And in that loyalty, I think Meri ended up getting really hurt. So the bird says, there's been more effort creating pain and hurting each other than the effort put into this relationship. Y'all, let me repeat that. There's been more effort creating pain and hurting each other than the effort put into this relationship or these relationships. Who are you talking to? Because the person who wasn't putting forth any effort, the person who was doling out all the pain, is the very person who you are now forced to be a monogamous with. She says, it just makes me angry. Maybe if you take all that energy and put it into actually working out the relationships, we might not be in this mess. But let's keep going and trying to hurt each other. Cool. I do not think that she's referring to her husband in this. I think that she's referring to the ladies. And I think that that's the problem, because at what point do you truly hold your man accountable for the things that he's done? I have absolutely no respect for this chick who keeps on trying to act like we didn't see the stuff that she did, who keeps on trying to appear as if she didn't create a wedge between this man and his kids when she wasn't pushing said man to really be with his kids. Who exactly is she talking to? It is him that has refused to do things. He can't even call his children and talk to his children. He can't even make things right. Those ladies that you sit here have all this advice for stuck around and took a lot of crap. They were around this man when he had no money. And this revisionist history continues to drive me nuts. So Janelle is the first to arrive at Pooville, then Meri, and they actually hug when they see each other. Meri's like, look, we're not the best of friends, but we have been allies in this situation. So they're waiting for the feathers and Justin to arrive. The bird is hoping, excuse me, that this is going to be a positive and open experience. Girl, they just want to be done. It don't need to be positive and open. Just sign the daggone papers. So the ladies are standing out there for a while, and the feather crew is taking too long to fly in. So they go back to their cars where they're warm. And then the bird and the bald eagle arrive. Justin's not there. And the bird feels like because they didn't get out the cars and greet their king and queen, that okay, she didn't say that. I'm just saying, like, she acts like they were supposed to jump out because they pulled up. If you all really wanted to speak with them, then you could have gotten out. It's always everybody else is supposed to move around them. So she feels like this is just a message that they don't want to interact. And no one ends up getting out the car. And that's the way they end it. I feel like they don't want to interact. I feel like there's no reason to interact. I just don't understand why they're trying to make this something that it's not. We already saw you guys for what you are. And I just feel like this is a hot mess. The house that they moved into looks a hot mess. The decor that they have all over, like, these people don't know how to get rid of stuff. You have all this space and it still looks like crap. I don't know. Anyways, that's all I got for this episode. I know I may have left out some things. If you want to talk about it, feel free to put it down in the comment section below, so myself as well as the fam can, hear your viewpoints. I appreciate you all so much. Please like the video as it helps the channel. Hype me up if you can as well. We're on the road to, what number am I going for? 4,000. If you have not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Anyways, appreciate y'all. Have a great one. Until next time. Peace.